Welcome back. Egypt entered a new era. Egypt adopted a harsh economic reform program which was implemented since the 2016 first step, which was taken in November 2016. Many mega projects launched, many improvements taking place in all fields, industrial, agricultural, economic in general, but hand in hand. The state is very keen to take care of the most needy brackets of social protection. And many steps were taken in this journey, and it's really a long path. And last but not least, it was a very ambitious initiative launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, a decent life initiative, or Hayat Karima, to improve the standard of living for the rural areas in general, and for the most needy brackets in specific all over Egypt, by the way. What are the most important steps? What's the significance of having this initiative launched today or in this period of time? We are very much delighted to have with us via phone Ambassador Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister Commercial, to talk with us and in detail about Decent Life Initiative. A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you and to the viewers.
Sir, I'd like you, if you permit me, to elaborate on the importance of having social protection in one hand and the mega projects launched and executed on the ground on the other hand. To have this kind of equation between two, and to what extent this is successful on the ground?
This is one of the most important mega projects launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, which will directly reflect on the livelihood of the citizens, mainly in the countryside of Egypt. I'm speaking about, when I say countryside, I'm speaking about 58 million people. This is more than half of the population, or 60% of the population are the direct beneficiaries of this Decent Life mega project. We call it mega projects. Why? We call it mega projects because it touches the livelihood of every citizen in the countryside. Men, women, and even new generation. When the project focuses on education and health, this simply means that the main components of any developments depend on this education and health. So they are focusing in education and health, which will raise the productivity of every citizen, of every individual, and changing his life from being from consumption to production. That is, we are changing this to productive elements or factors in the community. This is one thing. The other thing is that the people in the countryside, especially in the South Egypt, will a bit less privileged as far as development projects is concerned. Starting from 2019, or that's almost 2.5 years ago, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi launched this project and see how it will go far. It went far very smoothly, and it reflected slowly on the livelihood of the people. Now, at the beginning of this year, we are launching a fully-fledged mega project of the century, what I call it, when 700 billion Egyptian pounds, that's about 46 or 47 billion dollars, are earmarked for this project. This means that we are changing the face, changing the lives of the citizens in the countryside, in the villages, and making them productive forces in the community for the development of Egypt as a whole.
And practically telling them that they are in the heart and mind of the political leadership, to give them confidence and trust that tomorrow is going to be a better day for them and for the coming generations. Sir, if you permit me to talk also more about the governmental complexes, which are going to be scattered all over Egypt to introduce better service to the Egyptian citizen across Egypt. I mean, any citizen, he or she should not come to Cairo to finish some papers or stuff like that. No, decentralization is very important, and everyone can do whatever he wants when he is there in the rural areas or in the countryside, without differentiating between a village and a city. How do you see this?
I see it from a positive point of view. When the password is decentralization. Decentralization is lower cost for the economy as a whole. When some people came from Aswan or from Alexandria or from El Arish or Port Said to Cairo to finish their credentials, and now they can finish it locally, and thanks to the electronic government, this means that we are saving time, we are saving effort, and we are saving resources to be better used for what it should be used as in the first place. Many people now, many citizens, are seeing that decentralization is benefiting them directly.
Yes.
They do not need to change to commute to Cairo or to the city to finish their official
or to the capital of the governorate they are living in. Yes. Sir, I'd like also to talk more about those two elements in parallel. I mean, Decent Life initiative is going hand in hand with digital transformation. And now Egypt, as I said in my intro, is entering a new era. How do you see this as a way to achieve sustainable development on the ground and to have positive impacts on even the daily life routine of all of us?
United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals are the base or the backbone of this Decent Life initiative by President Fattah al-Sisi.
Yeah.
This initiative will directly reflect on the livelihood of every citizen because it changes his life from consumption to production, changing his life, will I say, from negative to positive. That is to enable every citizen to be, to stand on his feet and walk and run and achieve his own goals, personal goals. In this way, we are changing the lives of people by enabling them, giving them the tools to help themselves. When we see small-scale industries in the countryside, when we see that we have micro-credits to the citizens, when we see that we have literacy lessons in the countryside or in the villages, so the climate or the environment in which every citizen is working is changed with, say, 180 degrees to enable him or her, of course, to be more productive and to achieve his own goals, which will be reflected on the economy as a whole. This initiative will cost about $700 billion as Egyptian pounds, as we mentioned earlier. This is a big amount of money. So we know where our money goes. It goes to the development projects. It goes to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and at the same time, it will be directly reflected on the standard of living, the quality of life, and the health of the people, and the proper education which they will be getting in the villages and in the countryside. This is something very positive, which will be reflected on the GNP, gross national product of Egypt, within a very limited number of years. We will see that. When we have seen the growth rate is 2.8 of Egypt at the time of COVID, many countries have been stagnant as far as growth rate.
And this was hailed even by all the economic international institutions like the IMF, the World Bank, Fitch, S&P. But, sir, I'd like to end with a question which seems a little bit passionate or emotional. I think that Decent Life initiative has a psychological positive effect on the hearts and minds of the people. And when they are optimistic about the future, when they feel that the state does care about them and about their families, about the coming generations, this is another push forward. This is a way to tell them, just work and you are going to gain. Just work and you are going to be in our hearts, in our minds as a state. How do you see the psychological effect?
This psychological dimension is very important because it changes the minds and the hearts, of course, of the people from being negative to being positive. That is, every citizen is sure now that what the money is paying for electricity or water or whatever, it is getting back to him in service and in raising his own standard of living. So people are more positive as far as development projects initiated by the government and by the President Fattah al-Sisi in this decent life mega project. So they are sure, they are dead sure that tomorrow is better. That is to say, they will have to exert more efforts to make it, to realize it, because it will directly reflect on their own lives. Yep. Psychological dimension is very important because people are sure that they personally, every one of them, will benefit from this initiative, and so he will be cooperating with the government agencies and the other organizations and NGOs to achieve the SDGs, which we are working all for, to raise the standard of living and the quality of life in Egypt.
Yes. Very well said, sir. Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister of Commercial, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. Well, 7 years ago, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi promised all of us that Egypt is going to be a different country. The new republic was launched. He promised us that if we do work hard and we enjoy this sense of loyalty to our country, we are going to achieve miracles on the ground. And exactly this, it happened already on the ground, and tomorrow, inshallah, is going to be a better day. By this, we come to the end of the breakfast show for today, but tomorrow is another episode and another crew. On behalf of my dear colleague Hala Al-Hamalawi and myself, Nermeen Abdurrahman, many thanks for watching. Stay tuned on Nile TV International, always for more updates and for more details. Please log on to www.nileinternational.net. Many thanks for watching.